Good evening. We're so excited to talk with you today. My name is Adrienne, and I work with Oregon Goes to College. Tonight's session, which is one in a series of 6 to celebrate College Application Week, is about the benefits of attending a community college. And pretty soon, I'm going to introduce you to some of our friends and colleagues from community colleges around the state of Oregon. But before I do that, I do want to let you know that if you've missed the other videos in this session or in this series, you can find those at the OregonGoesToCollege.org website on the virtual college night page. And that website is also a really great place to check out other information about going to college in Oregon. So don't forget to check out OregonGoesToCollege.org for all of your going to college in Oregon needs and questions. But without further ado, let's talk about the benefits of attending a community college. And I'm going to start by asking each of our panelists to introduce themselves. I'm going to ask you to tell us who you are, where you work, and in honor of College Application Week and all of the students who are applying to college this month, why you chose to go to college. And I'm going to call on Trista to get us started.
So I'm Trista Ochoa, and I'm with Linn-Benton Community College. And one reason I went to college is because my family are immigrants. And that was my parents' deepest desire, was for themselves to be able to go to college. So it was never not a choice to go on and get a college education.
Fantastic. That's a wonderful story that you have to share. And I'm hoping that we learn a little bit more about your institution and community college from you later tonight. Ariane, how about you?
Thank you, Adrienne. Hello, everybody. My name's Ariane Rakich, and I'm the lead admissions counselor at Clackamas Community College. And I'm very excited to talk with you all tonight about community colleges. So many great benefits. I chose to attend college, I think, for so many reasons. One of the big ones is that I did choose to leave the state and go off on a new adventure. Traveling had always been a really wonderful opportunity that I hadn't had as much with my family. We haven't been able to financially afford that. So I chose to go to college in Louisiana and loved how that allowed me to continue my education and get out of my comfort zone and meet new people. And I actually am more of an introvert, and so was a very quiet person in high school. And then I went to college and found this great new part of myself. So exploring all those new opportunities was a huge part.
Great, thank you. Chase.
Yeah, so I'm Chase Van Weerdhuizen. I am the recruiter at Treasure Valley Community College. And the reason why I first started coming to TVCC my senior year of high school for dual credit classes was because I had completely maxed out on art classes and they were going to stick me back down with the freshmen. And I really, no offense to the freshmen, but I didn't want to drop back down to those beginning art classes with them. And after that, I built up my portfolio and I went to Minneapolis College of Art and Design so I could learn how to draw comic books. So I'm a permanent nerd. My degree is in funny books. So
Wow. And do you still draw comics?
Yeah, my first book came out this year from Scholastic. So
wow, we're gonna have to check that out. You'll have to share some information about that at some point. Yeah, great. Thank you all for introducing yourselves. And Orion, I'm going to pass it off to you so you can share your screen and get us started on the benefits of attending community college.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So everybody, you are here tonight because you have an interest in learning more about community colleges and how they could play an amazing role in changing your life and helping you reach your goals. Some of the kind of greatest benefits that apply to all of the schools in the state are at community colleges. They are in your community. So there are 17 community colleges in Oregon, and whether they're urban or rural or big or small, it allows you to continue your education while having the opportunity to stay close to home. Or if you want to attend a community college, you aren't necessarily, you don't have to stay at the one that's in your local community. You have the entire state to choose from. And the at-home part means that online is huge right now. And so you're able to continue your education at a community college while taking online courses. Open door general admissions policy is a really wonderful benefit of community college. It means basically that regardless of SAT or ACT scores or your grade point average or any other factors, every student is welcome at all of our community colleges for general admissions. There may be some special programs that might be of interest to you that could have some special admissions criteria, but for general admissions, everyone is welcome. Small class sizes and flexible offerings are two things that everybody loves. So at our community colleges, you're going to find wonderful student to teacher ratios that allow you to really get the most out of your time at the community college that you choose, get to know your instructors, get more of that one-on-one attention. That's a huge benefit of choosing a community college. At CCC, our average class size is about 23-1, and all of our community college partners in the state can offer small classes that are comparable to that, or sometimes even smaller. And then the flexible scheduling. Many of the students that attend our community colleges may be working or have family commitments or different obligations while you go to school. So to know that you have options that are in the day, evening, weekend, or if they're online, courses that maybe allow you to log in at any time, day or night, and work on your coursework, allowing you even greater flexibility with your schedule. So great benefits that our community colleges all offer. One of the first things that I bet everybody thinks of when they think of the benefits of community college is the opportunity to continue your education while saving money. So all of our colleges have affordable tuition, and I'm going to show you a really cool graph in a little bit that shows you exactly how affordable it is. But we also have financial aid and scholarship opportunities so that we can help you afford the costs of school. And then options, we're going to dive into those a little bit more this evening, but one of the great things about your community colleges in Oregon is that you can start at a community college on your path to transfer to a four-year university. But for those of you who have career goals in mind that require more hands-on training that takes 2 years or less, you can do those at our community colleges. So amazing benefits, and then a lot of other academic options as well. So really something for everybody in our communities. And we're gonna get to the next slide here because we got some great things to talk about. These are all of the educational institutions in the state, so the public universities and our community colleges. So all of those little dewdrops that you see in blue, those are the 17 community colleges in the state. And you can see that they're scattered about because, as they are in the name, they are community colleges. So it's really great to think about all of your different options. All right, this is always a fun one. And here's that super wonderful graph that I mentioned. Sometimes we can tell you how much things might cost, give you those estimates, but when you see it in a graph like this, it really helps to hit home how affordable tuition can be at an Oregon community college. So if you look at that tiniest little bar there, it shows you that in Oregon, the average cost of the tuition and fees for a year for a full-time student is about $6,000, so just under that if you're attending an Oregon community college. And then you can see that same year is going to be about double that at a public university. And then if your path is to head on to a private university for your goals, your savings are even bigger. So it's really nice that whatever your path, you can have really affordable tuition and fees. And then, like I mentioned, we also know that even though it's less expensive, we want to help you find all of those resources to support you in paying for college. So all of our schools are going to help you explore your financial aid opportunities. And financial aid comes in many different forms. Some forms you don't have to pay back, they're free money. Those are things like grants that can come from either the federal government or from the state. And often the higher your family's level of need to pay for school, the more grants you're eligible for. There's also a special grant that I'll show you about in a second that is specific to attending a community college in Oregon, and it's called the Oregon Promise Grant. There's Work Study, which allows you to earn funds to help you go towards the cost of school by getting a job that's connected to the community college that you attend. And then if you choose to, there are also student loans that might be part of your financial aid that you decide to accept. And all of our schools will help you apply for the funds that best meet your family's needs by filling out one of two applications, either the FAFSA or the ORSA. So again, there are financial options for all students that choose to attend school. And then scholarships. Just because community college will be less expensive does not mean that we don't want all of you to apply for scholarships to help you get additional money to help you pay for school. All of our schools have foundations or raise money to have scholarships that we offer just to students that are coming to our schools. So any community college that you're looking at, ask them what they have available and apply. And then there will also be scholarships that are external or outside scholarships that will encourage you to apply for. There'll be great resources on the Oregon Goes to College website to help you look into scholarship opportunities that you could take to any college that you attend, including any of our community colleges. All right. So that Oregon Promise Grant, I promised to let you know, this is a grant that is specifically for students who meet the requirements of having a 2.5 GPA or above, have recently graduated from high school, and attend an Oregon community college within 6 months after they graduate. So it means that you have to attend an Oregon community college. It's not something that you would use at any other colleges or universities. So that's a huge benefit of choosing community colleges. This might be available to you. And the intent of the Oregon Promise Grant is that it can help cover the majority of your community college tuition costs for up to 90 credits. So that's about 2 years worth of your college experience at our schools. And one of the great things, or another great thing, I think I keep saying one of the great things, another great thing about community colleges is that because we're in your community and we have very diverse student populations, we offer a lot of support services to our students to make sure that we help everyone support your success in reaching your goals and learning and having just that wonderful experience. So at all of our community colleges, we'll have academic advisors to help you make sure you're taking the right classes to reach your career or transfer goals. We help you get started. We help you, our counselors, explore careers or help if you're having personal challenges that might get in the way of school. We help with disability services and financial aid, and we have free tutoring. We support you in taking your online classes, veteran services for our students who are dependents of veterans or veterans themselves. Really, so many support services, and we want you to ask. Community colleges, we are there to help everyone in our community, so we really want to make sure that we find out what's going to help you on your success. And you're going to hear in a moment about the academic side of community college and what those wonderful benefits are. But there's also benefits outside of the classroom. We encourage students to get involved in whatever that extracurricular opportunity is that's the right fit for you, whether that's competitive athletics or maybe choir or theater or the student newspaper, getting involved maybe in the art department. I bet Chase, you would have totally loved to do that. Student leadership, so maybe helping other students by working in a department on campus, or serving on a student government team, or getting involved in clubs. Maybe you love STEM, or you have a strong interest in a language or a group of other students that share a common interest that helps you get more connected and just really love your time on campus. And many of the opportunities at our community colleges can help cover some of the costs of your tuition. So great benefits, and we're going to talk about the academic options now. So very excited to hear about those.
Thank you, Ariane, for sharing that. I want to really quickly let everybody who's watching know that if you have questions, you can type those questions into the YouTube chat or comment section, and we'll make sure to get those back in to ask Trista, Ariane, and Chase to respond to. So if you have questions, definitely feel free to ask those and we'll get those answered. And while we are waiting for some of those to come in. I'd love to ask Trista to talk to us a little bit about transferring and some of the options that come along with that.
Okay, I'm unmuted. So transferring, all of the community colleges in the state of Oregon are fully accredited, which means that those credits can be taken with you onto your university of choice, onto your four-year program. When you choose a major, we want you to work with your advisor closely so that you can get in and out with as few credits as possible. But we also want you to think about where you're going to go after you're done with the community college, because you're also going to want to talk to your advisor at that school so that you're not taking things at the community college that you don't need. One example I like to point at is in one of our degree options, our Associate of Science in Zoology, we have a requirement for calculus with physics with calculus. It is not required by several of the schools that you can transfer to. So if you just went through our program and didn't talk to your transfer counselor, you're going to take an extra physics class with calculus, and that doesn't sound like fun for anyone. Plus, it's, a 4-credit class, so you're paying for 4 extra credits that you don't need. So my best advice on transferring is about the middle of your first year, or at about the 35-40 credit mark, start thinking about where you're going to go after your 2-year. If you already know, awesome. And reach out to that school and find out exactly what they need for you to bring in to that school when you transfer in. Some schools have requirements that comm classes need to be taken in a specific order. So these transfer requirements are going to be specific to the school that you are going to. Your community college may not know exactly what Iowa State needs for you to transfer, but you can certainly take the education that you earn right here in Oregon and take that with you anywhere in the country. Did you want me to move on to DPP now? Special case. Oregon has a lot of programs where you can be dual enrolled with a university. On the Oregon Goes to College website, there's lots of information about the university and which colleges, community colleges they partner with. So for more information, you can dig in there. What the dual enrollment, DPP, there's lots of different names for it, it's a simultaneous enrollment between your community college and the university. There's some huge benefits for that. There is no transfer because you're already a student at that university as well as at the community college. What that means for us is you can mix and match classes. It means that you have an advisor at both schools. With Oregon State, and I'm going to speak for LBCC, we have a specific type of degree, an Associate of Science degree, that is designed specifically by OSU for our students to move in with absolutely no credit loss. And that's really nice because you can finish up your 2-year degree here and slide on over to your classes at OSU. But I will tell you, many students actually just mix and match those because you can start taking your major classes at the university. Or I had one student that always took a fun class at the university so she could have that social outlet, because community colleges, there's a few that have dorms, but most of us don't. So that's a nice way to really make that social connection with the people that you're ultimately going to graduate with. So when you're talking to your community college and you're getting ready to start, talk to them about what schools they partner with, what universities they partner with, and whether that's going to be a good fit for you, and what programs they have that move easily into those partnerships. We're going to talk about CTEs in a little bit. We actually have a partnership with Oregon Tech that takes our CTE credits, which for a lot of schools aren't transferable. If you're interested in getting a bachelor's degree, master's degree, whatever it is after your associate's degree, talk to your advisor at your community college, talk to your admission staff. We know this stuff and we want to share it with you. So absolutely take advantage of the ability to tap into the university resources, things like climbing walls, rec centers, dorms, but still have the small class sizes, the lower tuition, the Oregon Promise, the support systems that you can get at the community college. It really is the best of both worlds.
So as I was listening to, I was thinking, this is really what you're talking about right now with these degree partnership programs, or sometimes called co-admission or dual admission, that this is really the best of both worlds, having the opportunity to have one foot in a community college and one in a public university in the state at the same time. And I heard you say that at LBCC, you partner with Oregon State University, and I'm going to give Ariane and Chase an opportunity to just share which universities each of your institutions partner with, so we get a sense of how broad this is.
Trista, do you also have other schools that y'all partner with?
Yeah, we partner with Western Oregon University and or OIT.
Oh, perfect. Good. I wanted to make sure. I thought you had some additional ones on the list there. So at Clackamas Community College, we partner with Portland State University, Oregon State University, Oregon Tech, and Western Oregon University.
Yes, and at TVCC, we primarily partner with OSU and also with Eastern Oregon University because they're so close and nearby. It's definitely something that we have a very strong partnership with them. They have a satellite right out in front of our building. Another thing I'll just mention, being so close to the Idaho side, is when you're looking at those transfer options, Oregon, the public college and university system, is one of the few in the country that's set up on terms, which sounds kind of confusing, but we normally have 3 terms during the year plus summer, whereas most other states have 2 semesters. So when you're looking at transferring across state lines, sometimes it can be to your benefit. And sometimes you got to kind of make sure that you're picking and choosing classes that are going to come over strong. So that's something we find when we're transferring students and they're looking at maybe Boise State or University of Idaho. So it's another great reason to reach out to those admissions and advising folks on both sides.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that I heard you've both Trista and Chase have talked about transferring to public universities, and that can happen within the state of Oregon or really anywhere in the country. Is it also the case that students can transfer from a community college in Oregon to a private college or university?
Absolutely. And again, I believe all of the private universities in Oregon run on a semester system. So again, that's something to be in communication with. But because we are all fully accredited, you can, and because the community colleges in Oregon help you learn to be a really good student, a lot of those private universities look favorably on students that come out of the Oregon Community College system.
Great. That sounds like a good segue. Learning how to be a really good student sounds like a great segue into talking about some of the academic pieces. And specifically, Chase, I think you're going to talk with us about the CTE programs.
Exactly. So the great thing is you might be thinking of your traditional 4-year college degrees. Definitely like myself, I went and took like an art track. Comic art, maybe not so traditional, but there's different tracks like English, math, science, or maybe kind of standard education looking at going into K-12. But there's all sorts of other opportunities that, students are able to take advantage of throughout their educational career. So I'm going to pull up, I'm going to pull up this little presentation about what is career and technical education. What is CTE? So you might be scared of college because of classrooms. This is a picture of our small lecture hall. This is our largest classroom on campus. It seats about 80 students. But you might look at this and you might be thinking, oh my gosh, this looks like tests. This looks like lectures. This looks like, everything that I've been scared of while I'm in high school thinking about college. But the great thing is what if I told you you could spend class outside? What if you could be like these natural resources students at TVCC and be whitewater rafting for class? I don't know how that works. I'm always just jealous sitting in my office when I see these pictures pop up. Or, going out and doing field work, or going out into the Owyhees here, this beautiful natural landscape we have, and working with the animals, the pheasants, everything that's existing out there. And you might be thinking, man, the outdoors, that doesn't sound like a great time to me. I'd rather be inside here. Well, what about if you were in the shop doing, like Clackamas Community College's auto body and collision repair program, getting to work with your hands, getting that tactile experience. I know when I go and get my car serviced, I'm not a mechanic by any means, but I know I'm gawking around looking at all the cool stuff they're handling. And I've been through a few of these, kind of facilities, and it's such a cool thing. And you might be that kind of tactile learner. And you might also be thinking like, oh, like I like to use my hands, but maybe, my product's going to be a little less oil smelling in the shop and a little bit more olive oil, right? So what if you were in the kitchen? So these are some students from Linn-Benton Community College's Culinary Arts, Nutrition, and Food Systems program. So there's all sorts of options besides the traditional classroom. And that's what career and technical education is all about. It's focused on giving you the skills you need for a good paying job based on, what's latest in the industry, what jobs are out there, what jobs are in the community. So these kinds of programs are definitely geared more towards your future career than maybe onto transfer opportunities. Definitely your classes, you're going to be able to take them and you're going to be able to transfer them into a lot of programs, definitely that math, that English, all those things. But, like our natural resources students, they can take a lot of their classes and bring them up to the University of Idaho. But really, this is focused on getting you those hands-on experiences. And you might be thinking like, oh, hands-on, that means getting my hands dirty, right? No, there's all sorts of jobs and opportunities beyond, working in the auto body shop. I didn't mention agriculture. TVCC has a great horse production program. You might be thinking, man, I'd love to raise up a colt. It can be business, it can be computer science, early childhood education, working with kids at a pre-K level, medical assisting, nursing, and there's so much more out there beyond what you maybe kind of experienced or thought of about college. The other thing is, if you're still scared of school, like if I'm saying 2 years more of school and you're totally checked out, you're totally scared, a lot of CTE certificates can be earned in less than 2 years. That means you're going out of high school, which, if you just have a high school diploma in 2020, it can be really difficult to find a job because you're going up against people with bachelor's and master's degrees out there who are also job hunting and job seeking. So having any bit of extra education and training can really help you. Even something as simple as this office assistant career pathway certificate we have at TVCC. Even just having these basic skills like financial accounting, business computing, office procedures, teamwork dynamics, and keyboarding can take you so much farther in your career than just having, your basic high school certificate. Especially after your senior year, and you might be hunting for just finding where your next niche is. And that's another great thing about community college that I don't know if we've talked about. sometimes there's this big fear when you go on to a four-year college or university that you need to find yourself right away because there's a lot of money on the line and there's a lot of expectation. Whereas at community college, you have that opportunity to explore at a much lower cost. So if you say, you take a class that maybe doesn't work out for you, it's not as big of a risk because you are able to say, oh, I was just trying that out. And now maybe I found that, oh, I'm not really a business student, but I'm really loving, all these ag classes I'm taking over here. That's the experience that my supervisor has that he talks about all the time. He flip-flopped between those all through schools. So really, if you are looking at different options, trying to find different programs, not every college is going to have every program, right? TVCC doesn't have culinary. We don't have auto body, but there's definitely programs we don't that we have that Linn-Benton and Clackamas don't too. So really, you can talk to any of the recruiters in the state from any of the community colleges, and often will point, when I get culinary questions, I say, oh man, you need to talk to Trista for sure. So really just feel like you can have that conversation and that dialogue with us about your plans.
Great.
I just want to add one thing too. Because we have such a diverse geographic area in Oregon and all of these great community colleges, this is your chance to take a much smaller risk and move across the state versus and get away from home and go away to college versus moving to Boston. I worked with two students who wanted to know how far away they could go and still use their Oregon Promise. So I gave them Chase's contact information and they applied at a college application week for Treasure Valley. And they were so excited because, here it is. For them, it's like the other side of the country. So.
Great. And I have a question about that, but before I ask it, I do want to give a reminder to those who are watching live that if you have questions, you can use that YouTube comment section and we will make sure that we get those questions asked. But my question related to that, and Trista, you mentioned earlier sort of in passing that most community colleges don't have residence halls, but a few do. Can you tell us which of the ones in the state of Oregon have residence halls, just sort of in thinking about students who might be interested in going somewhere else, but maybe are a little bit nervous about living on their own or want that living on campus experience? Which of ours in our state have residence halls?
Okay, I'm thinking of three right off the top of my head. I'm going to need some help with this because I know that Southwest Oregon Community College has dorms, and they also have a lot of international staff who live in their dorms, or students. Central Oregon Community College have dorms, and Lane Community College has dorms as well. And am I missing anything, guys?
Yes, you're missing TVCC. So yeah.
Which I literally just mentioned.
Great.
Yeah, so we also have dorms, and I know Blue Mountain Community College, they also have dorms as well. So there are, different housing options across the state. The great thing is that you can use your FAFSA, your financial aid funds, and those are already tied in with the school. So those can go directly towards your housing rather than having to wait, maybe get that check back before you can maybe pay rent. So another great opportunity, and also, one of the big things is we're one of the few community colleges in the country that has dorms and an aviation program, which is why we see quite a few students coming our way as well.
I did not know that you had an aviation program. I knew that Lane did, but I didn't know that you did. That's really cool. Ariane, can I ask a follow-up to you? You're in the Portland metro area. So students who come to you from outside the metro area, do they have housing options?
We don't have on-campus housing, no dorms, which I wish we did now, knowing that we have so many cool options in the state. But there are definitely a lot of apartments in the area. We have listings so that if a student is looking for a room to rent or looking for their own apartment, we can help them start that search. Students can also fill out cards to let other students who might be looking for a roommate or a place to rent. So students can kind of communicate with each other and find options. Yeah, so great question. Lots within walking and biking distance as well. We're really trying to focus on supporting our students in their transportation options in the area, since housing and transportation are two really important things to think about when you're planning.
Yeah, and this all leads into a really good question that I'd like to ask each of you to address. And that is why, and you've started to do this, but I want to really hone in on why might students come to your college from across the state? Like, what's a specific thing about where you are and what you offer that is a reason that students might come to you?
I'm happy to talk about Clackamas Community College to get us going on this part. Clackamas Community College, we're in the Portland metro area, as Adrienne, you just shared, and we're kind of that middle-sized community college option in the Portland metro area. So we're not huge, we're not tiny, and that's sometimes nice for students to be able to visit our campus and see if maybe the atmosphere and the layout of the campus and just the size of the community maybe feels more comfortable to them, maybe similar to what they're used to at home, or maybe taking that next step without throwing them in the middle of a large city. So that's one of the things I think attracts everyone. When it comes to those career and technical programs, Chase, thank you so much for representing our collision repair program. Some of our career and technical programs are really sought after. So our collision repair is part of our heavy metals kind of family of programs, which includes automotive service technology as well, manufacturing and welding. And we were one of a very small number of community colleges in the nation to be selected by Metallica for a large grant that allows us to provide additional funds to the students in those programs so we can help them with job connections, more mentoring, but also help with some of the costs of safety equipment and tools and some of those additional costs related to completing their education, getting those hands-on skills, and then getting out into the world of work. Music technology is really popular. So Chase, you've mentioned kind of arts and maybe a more non-traditional path. So we have a program that in 1 year trains students to work in the recording industry. So a lot of the courses that they take are actually in a recording studio, and they're learning hands-on with those the equipment that you see in the movies, and they're doing what they're going to be doing when they get out and start working in the music business. And our science programs are also really robust, and that's drawing a lot of students to CCC. We recently expanded our science offerings, and our labs are now really streamlined and kind of up to that high-tech standards that they'll find when they head on to a university.
Cool.
So yeah, great stuff.
Thank you. Trista, what's a reason that students might come to LBCC from other places in the state?
One of the main reasons that people come to LBCC is because of our proximity to Oregon State University, Western Oregon University, and the U of O. We're right in the middle. We're actually about 5 blocks away from the Kelly Engineering building on the OSU campus, and we do the dual enrollment. But one of the main things that draws students to us are our extracurricular activities. We have an internationally known choir that competes in the World Choir Games and travels. We have a space exploration club that goes to Wallops Island, Virginia, which is the only NASA-owned launch facility in the nation, and every year sends up a package of experiments, whatever it is that season, into space. We have an internationally competitive underwater robotics team, our ROV team. And we have one of the only show writing teams in a community college in the nation, and they compete internationally, as well as a nationally recognized livestock judging team. So it's really the hands-on extracurricular activities that you can do in your freshman year at LBCC.
Great, thank you. And you mentioned one reason that students you knew who might have gone to TVCC to find something completely different and far from home. But Chase, what are some other reasons that a student might come to TVCC from elsewhere? You're about as far east as possible to get in the state. Why do
Yeah.
students come to you?
So I actually live on the Idaho side and cross the river every day, and it's just about 10 minutes, and here I am in the beautiful state of Oregon. So really, we are that small town vibe right next to the state of Idaho. So like I was mentioning, some of our standout programs like natural resources and agriculture. I mean, you're not going to find a better place to study those subjects than here. You know, right here in Malheur County, we produce all the onions that you're probably going to have at Outback Steakhouse for your bloomin' onion, right? Like that all comes from right here. We're the birthplace of the tater tot, right? But we also, have just excellent ag staff. We also have an incredible rodeo team that competes against four-year schools, and we do really good against them. I'm just going to humble brag about that for a little bit.
It's not that humble.
It's not that humble, right? So I better keep moving on. As well, students come across the state for athletics. We see students who are looking at different sports, whether it be soccer, track and field, cross country. And there's tuition waivers available here so that they can compete at the same time as they're studying. And that's how a lot of students are able to come out ahead at the end of their community college career. I mentioned aviation a bit earlier, but we are one of the few community colleges with dorms and a fixed wing helicopter aviation program. It's really incredible. And then the last thing I'll say is, as far as the student life here is incredible. I went to a 4-year private college and, had an incredible student life experience. And I started working here, and I remembered some things about TVCC from, my dual credit experience. But I was absolutely amazed at the quality of student life and programming here. Our associated student government, they are involved in all of our governance councils, and nothing makes it through without the student government being involved. So students know they're being represented fairly and equitably, and that's a huge part of just kind of our ethos here.
Thank you all for answering that question. I think it might be my favorite question of the night because you really gave just a really good list of all of the different things that make up the rich life academically and socially of a community college. And I think in a nutshell, sort of told us what those benefits are of attending a community college. And I really appreciate that in that question. That was fantastic. I want to remind our listeners that we do have an opportunity for you to ask your questions. I'm going to ask one more question of our panelists. So if you've got questions to ask, now's the time to get those in so that, because I have one more question and then we're going to say goodnight unless we have some questions from you. So now's the time while I'm asking this next question. And that is, we're going to take it back to what's happening in the world right now. And we know that COVID is a thing and things are pretty uncertain and we don't know exactly what's going to happen this spring or next fall. And one of the things we've been hearing from students is that makes them feel a little uncertain about next year and whether or not continuing their education after high school is something that they want to do in the fall, because they don't know. And so my question for you all is, what is your best advice for students as they're thinking about that right now and in the midst of college application week and working on applications? What's your best advice to students who are thinking about COVID and the fall and uncertainty? Trista, do you want to start?
Sure. We're having about 15% of our classes on campus, even during this, and we are taking precautions. All of our lab classes are being held in person on campus because those experiences can't be duplicated online. So healthcare, our sciences, our trades all have a lab component. And we are going to continue to do that. We are going to continue to monitor cases in our local community and work with the Oregon Health Authority. What I would tell students is be somewhere where you're going to be comfortable with the community that you're in. Some students are living in dorms, but taking their classes online. Is that an experience that you're going to enjoy? You know, you still have that social, but you're still online. Or would you be happier at home with your mom cooking for you, taking your classes online? You know, there's always a chance for flexibility in this world. So if all the campuses open up next fall and you have a chance to go, then take advantage of that. But think about what's going to happen where are you going to be safest?
Excellent. Thank you for that advice. Chase, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so as far as an admissions person, you know, students kind of have been coming up to me and saying like, so what's happening? Like, what do I need to know? What's, you know, they're just so overwhelmed. And I can frankly say to them, I'm overwhelmed too. And I don't know day to day what's happening either. You know, I can plan something for a month and then all of a sudden it's out the window with COVID. So, you know, really we're all kind of in this together. The big thing I'll say, you know, TVCC, we've kept our classes, you know, we've tried to stay as much on campus as possible. We've been able to do so thus far. You know, a lot of it has moved online, but, you know, we still are offering those small in-person experiences. The thing I'll say, just as I myself, I didn't realize I was, you know, doing this, but I applied for my master's program to Eastern Oregon University this last year. And that happened well before March. And then all of a sudden COVID hit and I was going through and I was kind of like, well, do I want to keep pursuing my education? Is this something, does this make sense right now? Will I have time? What's going on? And I found this fall, this summer and fall, that my education and pursuing that education and continuing to engage and read and communicate with other people has been the thing that's gotten me through all this, and has been able to give me purpose in life. You know, I know students right now, a lot of them are sitting at home and aren't able to be out in their community. They're not able to be at their school. And I just have to say, you know, continuing your education right now will give you so much purpose, and give you the ability to hold tight to that when everything else is uncertain.
Great. Thank you so much. That's also really good advice. Ariane, what kind of advice do you have for students?
Yeah, Trista and Chase both have fabulous advice. Things that I would add or kind of just echo would be to think about why in the big picture you are choosing to go to college and what that end goal is. Not end goal, it could be a middle goal or just the first goal, but what is that, that spark that is going to help you feel connected to whichever college experience maybe you have when you begin, even if that changes along the way, and that positive presence of your classes and your education and helping you reach that goal, that dream, can really help get through even this more challenging time. Clackamas, the majority of our classes are online and will continue to be online this coming winter. We're taking and making our decisions using all of the data from the health authority and everyone just to try and help make sure that we're making these safe decisions in our community. And each of the communities in Oregon are dealing with very different situations. But we have a small number that are in person. So that's good to know. And as we talk with each student, that's how we help you figure out what those options may be for you if you choose Clackamas Community College. And I would encourage anyone interested in any of the community colleges to reach out to the admissions team or whoever that is at each school so that we can talk with you, get to know you, and help you decide if our school is the right choice because of all the programs and the extracurricular opportunities and all those great things, but also just so that you can choose that vibe or the personality for the school that you plan to attend, that's going to be a constant from when you're getting started, and regardless of whether we're online or when things return to in person. So talk to us. We all want to help.
Great. That's a really good way to end this. I think that folks on all college campuses, and specifically on our community college campuses as well, want to help and want to be available to answer your questions. So thank you to everyone who's joined us or who's watching us in a recorded version. We were thrilled to have the opportunity to talk with you tonight and to share the benefits of attending a community college. And I want to remind you all that this video, but also all of the other videos in this series of these live panel discussions, are available on the Oregon Goes to College website, as are a number of other videos and a whole lot of information about going to college in Oregon. And so please do check that out. Trista, Ariane, and Chase, thank you so much for being here with us today. And I am sure that no matter where you might be thinking about going to college, these three will be happy to have a conversation with anybody out there who has some questions and is wondering about their next steps. I saw a lot of nodding, so that's fair. Okay, great. So thank you all again, and we hope to see you on one of Oregon's campuses in the fall. Thanks so much. Bye.